In this video, I want to go over how to start up a virtual machine for outbreak detection and surveillance using the StaPH-B custom image. In other videos, it'll be described how to get a Google Cloud Platform account and start things up. So from here, we're going to assume that you already have your account, you have your billing set up, you're no longer on the trial version, so you have access to shared custom images, and the images have been shared with you through a StaPH-B member. So the way you want to start out is, here you are in the Google Cloud Platform. You have a specific project, and here's your dashboard. What you want to do is go over to your compute engine. And then in the compute engine for this project, we do not have any virtual machine instances running at this time, so we'd like to create a new one. And then here's your create instance page. The first thing you want to do is give it a name, and we can call this test VM instance. And note, everything has to be in lowercase, and you can only have dashes. We'll have the central region. If you're going to use this for actual computational purposes rather than just demo and trying to start it up, we usually use an 8 CPU with 30 gigs of memory machine type. And here's the tricky part where you're going to try to find the custom image that has been shared with you. So under the boot disk, you want to hit change. And you should see a number of options up here from OS images, application, etc. You want to go to custom images. And you'll see that in your project, you might not have any custom images, but the images that will have been shared with you will probably be in a StaPH-B project called Snip Linux. So you'll click on that and you'll see a number of choices. Now the latest version will be named StaPH-B-something. As of the making of this video, the latest version is StaPH-B 09, so you'll click StaPH-B 09. You can see the disk size changed to 1 terabyte, and you're going to click select. You want to keep the identity and API access at default service, but your access scope you want to switch to allow full access to all cloud APIs. The reason for this will be explained in later videos where we're connecting to Google Cloud Storage buckets. By default, I usually add HTTP and HTTPS traffic in case I want to run some web servers. And then you want to click on this Management Disk Networking SSH Keys section. The first thing that you want to do is to look at the disks, the disk menu, and you want to remove this delete boot disk when instance is deleted. If you know that you're only testing something out, you could leave that on, but a lot of times if you're going to boot up this instance from this custom image, you're going to make changes and you want to save those changes. If you accidentally delete the instance, you would delete the boot disk and you'll no longer be able to create an image, so remove that. And then the other tricky part for a lot of newbies on doing this is the SSH keys. So to make this secure, you really want to use SS authentication. And we want to add a specific SSH key for this VM for logging in. The way that you're going to do that is you're going to paste in an SSH key, a public SSH key, into this data field right here, and while also saving a private key. And the best way that I know how to do this right now, especially using the Google Cloud Platform, is using a program called PuttyGen. So in this folder here, I have both Putty, which I'm going to use to connect to the instance once it's running, but also PuttyGen, and PuttyGen is going to create this SSH key. So we're going to launch PuttyGen. Open it in another window, I'll drag it over. And what you're going to want to do is to generate a key, and the way that a public-private key pair. So you're going to click generate, and then you're just going to take your cursor and move around in this open space, which is going to create a random key pair. When it's done, you'll see this text up here in the window and some of these fields down here that you need to fill in. What you're going to want to do is change the key comment to StaPH-B. That's because this is going to be the username for which you're going to log into your VM, and which contains the account with all the software and environmental variables set up for your workflow. And then you're going to want to enter in your key passphrase, which is kind of like a password. So I'm going to enter in something here, and then I'm going to repeat it here. You need to remember this. It's very much like a password, but it's considered a passphrase when authenticating. And so now the two things that you're going to want to do here is first you're going to want to say save private key, and you're going to give this a name. So we're going to call this a test VM, and you see it says PPK. We're going to choose that PuTTY folder that we were working in, and we're going to say save. And you can see in the folder behind, the test VM PPK was generated there. The other thing we want to do is go up to the window up top, and starting from the right side of StaPH-B, we want to copy that entire text window. So we'll copy, and then we'll go over back to our Google Cloud Platform, and with the Create Instance menu, and we're going to paste in that key there. Okay? And I'm just double checking the rest of the settings here. We haven't missed anything. You can see it tells you based on what you've set up, how much it's going to cost you, estimated per month, based on the zone that you're in, and all the services, disk side, etc. So I think at this point we will say create, and it'll take a few minutes here, but you can see now on your VM instances, instead of it asking you to create an instance, it's showing a list and it is populated with one instance. When the VM is booted up in a second, you'll see an external IP address which you're going to use for PuTTY to log into your instance. So we'll give it a few seconds here. Okay, now that the VM instance has been created on the Google Cloud Platform, we have this external IP. We're going to grab this IP address and copy it. And we're going to go back to our PuTTyGen and PuTTY.exe folder here, and we're going to launch PuTTY.exe. Drag that over to this window. And from here, we are going to paste in that IP address, and then we're going to find that secure shell key. So we'll find this SSH menu down here. Open it up, we'll see the authentication. Click on authentication, and then it says private key file for authentication. We're going to browse, and we're going to find that test VM PPK that we created. And lastly, we want to go back up. The session is the top window, but we want to go to Terminal and Features. Many of the videos I'll make later are going to make use of screen, and screen works best in PuTTY if you disable switching to alternative terminal screen here, if you check that. Now we're going to say open. You could see that a PuTTY window has now opened, and the first time that you log into a virtual machine you created, you'll get this PuTTY security alert saying that, it's basically telling you this is the first time that you're logging into this instance. So you just hit yes, and let me open this window a little bigger. So here we use the StaPH-B that we used in creating our key, and then now it's asking you for the passphrase for the key that you created, and I'll enter that in again. And notice that when you type it in, the cursor doesn't move. So it is responding, you are typing it in, but that cursor isn't going to move, blink, or anything while you're typing in the passphrase. Hit enter, and voila, we are logged into our virtual machine right now. And you can see right here, the prompt shows you that you are user StaPH-B, and you're on the virtual machine test-VM-instance that we started, and this tilde means you're in your home directory. And if we use LL to list out our home directory, we can see that the software, scripts, base space, and workspace directories that we've created for StaPH-B for later tutorials are in here. So this is about all you have to do, and you are now connected and can do your work and look for other videos on what you can do with this. Thank you.